Dream big, plan smart, build wealth. This is the TFS podcast, where money talk gets real and financial freedom is more than just a goal. Without further ado, let's dive in.
Hi guys, and welcome to another episode of the TFS Wealthcast podcast. Last week's episode was around the new budget, and this week's episode we're going to dive deeper, and we're going to take a different approach to this episode. We're going to play 21 questions with Pramu, but it's the new budget edition.
It's like 50 cent.
So let's call this the Budget Smackdown.
Uh-huh.
Our property investors, the new endangered species. Right, so if you're a property investor, you really want to tune into this episode. All right, without any further ado, Pramu, I'm going to dive straight into the first question.
Yeah.
So, Pramu, for anyone who doesn't know you yet, right, you need to finish this sentence.
Okay.
You are the kind of property investor who...
Who likes boring numbers and exciting results? I will kill a sexy deal any day. Any day. If the spreadsheet is going to be, not good for me, I'll kill the sexy deal.
Okay, if the spreadsheet is not good for you, you'll kill the sexy deal.
Yeah.
So you spread that spreadsheet wide open.
Because I like the boring numbers. You have to know the numbers.
Even if it's boring. Okay.
Property investing.
All right. Question number 2. Before we get into this budget drama,
Yeah.
on a scale of 1 to auction paddle addict, how obsessed are you with property?
Ooh. I mean, if I had to put a number, I'll go 9. I'm very much addicted to property, but that doesn't mean that there are certain properties I'll buy.
Yeah.
Not every property I see I buy.
Okay. So you discriminate your property, you discriminate your properties.
I mean, yeah.
Does it matter if they're old, if they're young?
It does. To be honest with you, before the budget,
Yeah.
didn't matter too much.
Okay.
Now the age is something that I will look.
So now you don't like them old.
Actually, I like them young now.
Property.
Yeah, please.
So, all right, question number 3. What was your very first property deal? And if you did that same deal today under this new budget, would you still do it?
Oh, absolutely, yes. I mean, a couple of episodes ago, we did talk about first deal, yeah?
Yeah.
Buying a land and building a house, creating values, paying less, getting all the government grants. Absolutely, yes. No doubt. In fact, if I'm a first home buyer now, I'll be doubling it down. I'll be going very quickly into the market now.
Get into the market sooner than later.
Yeah, absolutely, because the government is supporting first home buyers, right? So,
All right, bro. So when you heard about the new budget announcement,
yeah.
now be honest. What was your uncensored first reaction?
I mean, a couple of swear words came out, I would say. No, I'm just kidding. Look, it's not what most of the conventional property investors want, right? When the budget is talking about taking the negative gearing out of the equation, conventional investment is going to be, it's not the best anymore. I actually liked it because it started me to think totally outside, look at the portfolio, what me and Sonali currently holds, and see, are there any changes we need to do? Now it got me thinking. It got me start looking into different avenues, looking at the same property in a different way. Right? Yeah. So if you have read the budget, if you see, look, by the way, negative, this whole thing hasn't been passed yet. It's just they need to pass it in the parliament.
Okay.
Whether it happens or not, you don't know that yet.
Yeah.
But if you assume that negative gearing is going to come out, personally, I looked at all my properties in the portfolio. I looked at it, okay, if it comes out, what are the changes I can do?
Yeah.
There are so many changes I can do. So, moment it's become live, I'll be doing those changes.
So again, it all comes down to strategy, right?
Absolutely. Knowing how to do it.
Yeah.
And when to do it and what path to take to do it as well. That is very important. So me and Sonali has already done that strategy for ourselves.
Yeah.
We will be doing a couple of those things regardless whether it's going to come or not.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because we want to share the same experience with our customers after we doing it and experiencing it. And what we have done numbers and looked at it. So it'll be actually pretty cool. Something new.
Yeah. All right. All right, Pramod. So questions 1 to 4.
All right.
This is just the warm up.
Okay.
Right. Now, questions 5 to 9. These are the budget hot takes.
Oh, okay.
Right? These are the investor angle questions.
Right.
All right. In one sentence, what did this new budget say to property investors? I don't think you can. Can you summarize it?
I don't think you can say it in one sentence, right? I mean, if I had to put it in one sentence, we're not banning you. We will give what you want as long as you play our game.
Yeah.
If you want me to put it in one sentence.
Yeah.
So their game, as long as the property investor, if you play their game, they'll give you what you want.
The government wants you to be their little censor word.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but to be honest with you, it's all right. Because there are so much of opportunities in there. Right? So if I had to elaborate, this is a bit more to you.
Yeah.
Buying an established property, it's not that lucrative anymore for a property investor. Right? Because negative gearing, see later. But then depreciation is still there. So how can you get the depreciation? Is by buying a brand new property. For 7 years, you get the maximum depreciation on a property.
So basically, this new budget just changed the investors' focus from established properties towards brand new properties.
Yeah. So basically, the government they want to boost the construction industry and create more jobs so they can get more tax from those jobs.
Yeah.
And get more income by land development approvals, stamp duty. It's the multiple industries going to come into play. So investors, you want to play property investment game, buy brand new. And we'll give you negative gearing.
Yeah. All right. Question. Next question. Give me your spiciest hot take. What's the most underrated change in this budget that investors aren't talking about yet?
I think CGT, right? CGT. And what I've seen in Instagram and Facebook, a lot of people have quite a lot to say about it. I think the trust side of it, inheritance.
Yeah. And it's just not on your capital gains that they imposed, they reduced the tax on. They're also taxing shares, whatever.
That was a surprising one. I think the previous episode, Sonali was talking about it as well. She got surprised as well. I think CGT is something that investors and a lot of people haven't actually grasped into themselves to understand what is going to be once you invest and make a good profit out of it. So that opens up different avenues, by the way, Vishy.
Yeah.
Okay, so I looked at it in a way, all right, it's CGT there, cool. What if I just do it this way? And I don't have CGT. I just do it that way.
What kind of way is that?
I mean, I can spill the beans. All right, cool. So, I mean, think about it in the company aspect, right?
Yeah.
So company is all about revenue, expenses, profit or loss.
Yeah.
So if you make a profit, you pay tax on the profit. That is 26.5%.
Yeah.
Do that.
Change the approach. Again, comes down
It
to
used to be, company investment used to be not that attractive, because when you have family trust, property trust, you have different structures, right? And corporate trustees to individual trustees. Now all of a sudden, companies' investments become
a no-brainer. Yeah.
So you rather pay 26.5% tax
Yeah.
versus whatever you're indexing tax. Right?
Yeah.
It's definitely not going to be 26.5.
It's going to be more.
Right? It's always going to be somewhere between 35 and 40.
Yeah.
Or for most investors, it's going to be about 46%.
So it's a good time to capitalize now on a different strategy like that.
Absolutely. Yeah. That's what we discussed in TFS. We've gone through some training programs with our brokers just to refresh them into the
changing
market, the company structures, company lending,
yeah,
how it works, and which banks, what rates,
yeah,
how it works. We've already done the training. We're ready to go because we know what's coming. I've already had a couple of conversations with different investors. While I was in Sri Lanka, we had some really long chats with few investors, and it'll be most likely going to be PTY limited. I mean, we have to wait till the parliament passes. So let's see.
All the government changes.
Who never knows? I mean, this is the way things are going with this government. They like changing things. So.
Yeah. So on the topic of thinking outside the box and re-strategizing, right? So who gets slapped the hardest here? The over leveraged growth at all costs investor, or the conservative long-term investor?
Look, see, the way I look at it, if you're holding properties, established properties, thinking of you're going to be doing some developments later on, or thinking of you're going to sell it later on with a profit, you're slapped hard because your negative gearing go on.
Yeah, it's like getting punched by Mike Tyson.
Yeah, it's gone.
Yeah,
right. So now, even if you go and think about, okay, then I'll just subdivide it and make a profit, then CGT hits you.
Yeah.
Right. CGT, then when you're subdividing, you've got to pay other fees to the councils, local councils as well. So you add all the cost. I think established property market for investment, for investors, it's a bit iffy.
Yeah.
I think they've been hit pretty hard.
All right. So if you had to pick, are you more worried about the new tax changes or the fact that your borrowing power is now being squeezed?
Borrowing power being squeezed is always the problem, right? Because if you can't leverage your equity, what's the point of having equity? Right. So only way you can have the equity is by selling it. You sell it, you have to pay CGT unless it's your own home. Then what are you going to do? You're going to keep rolling yourself to one house for 10 years? I think taxation, again, this is my opinion, right?
Yeah.
No financial advice or no taxation advice. I'm not a tax accountant, so do not take my word as tax advice.
But if anyone needs a financial planner, you should speak to TFS. We have a financial planner.
Sonali is the best person to speak to, financial planning side of it. But the way I look at it from the very logical perspective, if you can't borrow your equity that you have gained to go and reinvest in whatever the asset class you want, there is no use of that equity anymore. Right. Now, you're restricted how to use your equity, or how much you can access your equity because of the borrowing power coming down, right? That is the restriction. So I'm really hoping the banks will understand this, because banks are in the business of lending money. They're going to lose a lot of money if they're going to lend less money. right? So I'm really hoping the bank will understand this.
Yeah.
With the help of APRA and AFCA in the right way, ease up certain borrowing restrictions, right? I just don't understand certain borrowing restrictions that currently we have. I mean, I always be vocal about this in the office. Household expenditure measure, HEM. It's a bag full of, you know.
Yes.
What are you talking about? Just because you earn 200,000 doesn't mean that you're gonna go and spend $12,000 of expense. You that person will never do that.
Yeah.
Who's gonna do that? If somebody is doing that per month of 12,000 expense, that's $144,000 gone.
They need a financial planner and a therapist.
Yeah, so that person won't even have a deposit to buy a house.
Yeah. True.
So think about it.
Yeah, because if they actually reassess how they calculate the HEM,
Right?
that'll really.
I think come back to a better way of doing this.
So they're
Go and look at the actual expenses of the person rather than putting a benchmark.
because they've got the bank statements anyways, right? So
Yeah, right. What's wrong with that?
yeah.
I know that a lot of mortgage brokers will say, "No, you crazy." There's a lot of people can't borrow. A lot of people better understand how to do their expenses.
Yeah.
Because if you're hiding your expenses and asking the bank to give you more money, you're gonna struggle
Yeah.
if you don't get rid of your expenses,
Yeah. Yeah.
right? So go to the old school way. Look at the actual expenses the people have.
Yeah.
Then borrow. Measure the person based on that person's expense, income, credit worthiness. Back to four C's.
Because like you said, so these new tax changes, the new budget, it can also affect the income of banks, the revenue, right?
Absolutely.
Going, so
You lend less. What are they going to do? What are they going to do?
exactly.
That means a lot of people are going to lose jobs. How long the bank is going to keep certain employees when they're making
Less money.
Less money.
revenue, yeah.
right? And AI in the equation.
And
So,
also in a market where interest rates are going up,
yep,
less people anyways not now going to want to borrow,
yep.
right?
Yeah.
People who are renting, who are thinking about buying might be like, I'm just going to stick to renting.
So certain ripple effects. I don't think this government did. I don't think they even
Factor in.
put them into an equation to see. If you do this,
I mean, this government has been one of the most controversial governments in the past decade, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, the memes and reels and videos online.
I shared you one.
Yeah.
That was pretty cool. I cracked myself yesterday watching that.
Sound of music.
Yeah.
All right, Prabhu. What's one part of this budget that looks good in the headlines, right? But it's kind of a useless in real life scenario for investors.
Investors. Okay, the question is about investors.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. You're thinking about first home buyers, huh?
No. I mean, look. So there are so many types of investors we work with right now.
Yeah.
Now, what hilarious to me looking at the budget is $250, and then there's $1,000. Investors could think, oh, that means I have more money coming into my household, which means I have more borrowing capacity. But you and I both know $1,000 of per annum net increment is bugger all you get. You probably get a $6,000 more of borrowing if you're lucky.
What's that enough for? Pay the legal and bank fees?
Yeah, right? Right? It's pretty much, gone, right? So that is one of the hilarious things I've seen.
Yeah.
I just don't understand the fact that, look, again, I it's not a political comment, but I just don't understand the mindset you have, that this government have when they're marketing it, saying, oh, it's $250, it's good for you.
Oh yeah, and he takes so
Which
much
world
pride in
you in?
saying, we're giving back $250. Like, $250.
Right? What are you going to do with it?
There are parking tickets, there are more tickets than that. Run a red light, you'll get fined more than that.
Yeah.
Yeah, at least reduce fines. Yeah, that would have been a really good move, but no.
I think they should have gone down the path of income thresholds
And then
and then given the
Yeah.
discounts. Okay, if you're earning less than $100,000, give them a bigger discount
yeah,
of the tax. That
would
will,
have been a better approach.
Yeah,
that'll
help them.
Yeah. All right. 21 questions with Pramu. Now it's time to move on
What are we on?
to borrowing power and finance.
Yeah.
Questions 10 to 14.
All right.
Right. Okay, let's talk bank reality.
Mhm.
How has your borrowing capacity actually changed after this budget?
Significantly for investors, if you're going to rely on negative gearing, all of the investors relied on
Yeah.
negative
Negative
gearing.
gearing.
So, depending on your portfolio, depending on the properties that you're planning on buying, this can vary between $100,000 to $500,000 as well.
Yeah.
It depends on your portfolio.
Yeah.
It can even go beyond $500,000. So, what does that mean? That you are borrowing less? What does that mean? That you're not in the market? I think this is what the government wanted to do. You're not in the market, so you buy property.
So you
But-
don't buy property.
But please come and buy the
Brand new.
brand new houses or land and build.
Yeah.
So that is not affected because the negative gearing is factored into that.
Mm.
So the borrowing power already we've seen from the banks have said, yep, if it's brand new, we're going to factor the negative gearing into the serviceability. So you have your optimized borrowing.
Yeah. But then the issue with that is when when brand new property starts looking attractive to investors and they start flooding that market,
Yeah,
first home buyers, realistically, if they want to go down the path of buying established properties, they have to
Yeah.
pay full stamp duty,
correct.
right?
You can't buy a property under 600,000 in Victoria.
Exactly.
I mean, there are. but
Yeah,
it's a
and not a
two-bedroom.
lot, and not a lot of first home buyers we've seen have
Yep.
such a high deposit to factor
Yep.
in the
Yep.
cost of stamp duty
Yep.
and also the deposit to buy the house.
Take a simple example of a purchase of a $700,000 property in Victoria.
Yeah.
Right. So you're looking at about $16,000 worth of stamp duty. About.
Yeah, that's a house and land bill.
No, established property.
yeah.
Right. This is what I'm saying. We get a fair go for the first home buyers. Fair go. All right. Let's do the numbers. $700,000. $16,000 you need for stamp duty. 5% deposit is a must, which is $35,000. That is $51,000 you must have
Yeah,
even before you sign the contract.
contracts.
You gotta have another $2,000 towards your lawyers, maybe depending on where you buy, $1,500 to $3,000 towards the council raise, water raise.
And also the gas connection levy, that's
Okay,
1,500
right.
now.
Yeah, add it up here. Add it up here.
Yeah,
Right?
it just keeps
Keep
going
adding up.
Yeah.
Insurance. Right. Then content insurance. I mean, if you start adding all these things up, you gotta have about $60,000
At least.
to buy a $700,000 property. What happened to the 5% deposit, mate?
And also if if they're currently renting, then they have to keep paying the rent while
But let's assume they're buying an established property,
yeah.
right? Established property, then your rent is gone, you're
Gone,
moving
yeah.
in, right? You're looking at about $60,000 for a $700,000 purchase. Okay?
Whereas if they bought brand new,
Then bring back the $10,000 grant for established as well. If
Okay.
you want to help the first home buyers.
so the $10,000 grant used to be eligible for.
We used to have it, right?
Okay.
I just don't understand some of the areas you miss in the
Yeah.
budget. You want to help these guys out, first home buyers, might help them. We want first home buyers to come so we can help these guys to get the loans.
It's like
Right.
they just thought of this new budget. Oh, let's do these changes.
Let's take the investors
They
out.
didn't take the time to think about what are the ripple effects of this, and
It just don't make sense to me.
it's like a demo product that hasn't been tested yet.
I just don't understand how come they missed the first homeowners grant. Give them $10,000.
Yeah.
I mean, given that you are spending money anyway, inflation is going up anyway.
I think this new budget is actually just to get more money in the government's pocket, to cover up all their missed
No
investments.
comments on that.
All right.
Yeah.
If an investor was approved for, let's say, $1 million before this new budget was
Yeah.
announced,
Mm.
what kind of a haircut would their borrowing have taken now?
Yeah,
And how should they mentally prepare for it?
it depends on your portfolio, by the way,
Yeah.
right? So, if you have, negative gearing is gone now. for your established properties, because even though all your portfolio is established, so it's cool. If you buy it brand new, that negative gearing will get factored into your serviceability. But let's say you're not doing that, you're buying it established. You're looking at, depending on your income, depending on your portfolio balances, you're looking between, as I said before, $100,000 to $500,000 gone.
Yeah.
But for $1 million, you're looking at least about, my opinion, again, don't quote me to this because I haven't done the specific numbers.
Yeah.
It depends with the person's income as well. Average person who has $1 million borrowing power towards investment, you're looking at about a $200,000 to $250,000 off. Now you're having about $800 or $750 borrowing. So now
it's a drastic change.
Yeah, so asset class is also changing now because of that. So
What's the dumbest mistake an investor could make with finance in this new environment, bro? So are you going to take a diplomatic approach to this question, or are you going to just give it to them straight?
Dumbest mistake.
Yeah, what's the dumbest mistake an investor could make in terms of their finance in this new environment?
Selling properties.
A lot of people would panic sell now.
Oh yeah. That's the dumbest mistake they're going to do. But they don't understand it. What if the government changes?
Yeah.
What if they're going to come back?
Yeah.
Right? They sell at a point where the market is a bit iffy.
Yeah.
So you might get less what you should be getting.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people can't borrow too much to pay the money that you want.
Yeah.
So you've been forced to sell it cheaper. But if you hold it for next 3 years, 4 years, if you have done your numbers, if you've done your financial planning or your cash flow projections properly, you can be making a lot of money. What if the CGT rule also changes?
Yeah.
Right. Dumbest mistakes, I reckon investors will be doing now, selling.
Panic selling.
Yeah. Not understanding.
So that also creates an opportunity to smart investors
To buy. Absolutely. That's why I said it's not an end game here. In fact, it's a new game. It's exactly a new game.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm excited. I'm waiting for this.
Yeah. You're ready to play.
I'm ready to play. I'm putting certain things in place. I'm ready to go.
Yeah.
Moment these things comes out, me and Sonali definitely gonna press the green button. Bang. Go.
So what do you think this new budget does to small everyday investors?
Everyday investors?
Yeah.
I think the everyday investors need to start thinking about how to invest in the property asset class as a semi-pro.
As a semi-pro.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because you're gonna be you should be investing in different entities now. Now, I'm not gonna say which entities it is because you gotta, if you want, call our team.
You want to know what the entities are? You give us a call
because if I start, it's not about business. If I start telling you how the entities work, then I have to actually finish how it works. That'll be a good whole episode for you.
Yeah, that's an episode on itself.
So, straightforward answer for your question.
Yeah.
First time investors to the market, they need to start now thinking like a semi-pro. You don't need to be a pro to make
Semi-pro.
money. Just be semi-pro now. Different entities, the way you borrow, the way you structure, where you also repay.
Yeah.
That's also coming into play. I'll give you one hint. A lot of investors go interest in areas. Now, start thinking about interest in advance.
Yeah.
See how it works.
Yeah.
So then again, this is the problem. If I start telling, I got to finish it off properly, right? So you factor your investment, your interest in advance at the beginning of your investment time.
Yeah.
So then you're not paying interest for the next whatever the advance you make.
Yeah. So if anyone wants to know how to do this for themselves, you can always call us on our hotline.
Yep. Accountants will be very much busy these days.
Yeah. All right. Questions 15 to 18. This is all about the shift in strategy and the moves you need to be making in your portfolio. All right. So, what part of your own strategy, Pramu, are you tweaking because of this budget? And what are you doing less of? And what are you doing more of?
See, being very direct, if I be very direct to you, my old strategy actually works very well in this budget. Buying brand new.
Old school strategy.
It actually works very well because I had majority of my properties, I bought brand new. Because I always believed in the fact that why should I pay more money to buy an investment property? I pay less money to buy an investment property.
Yeah.
Works very well in this budget.
Yeah.
Right? So that's coming up. I'll be definitely buying brand new. I'll be looking at certain pockets now where to buy land and build.
Yeah.
Not land banking. I don't think I'll be doing land banking. It's pointless.
Yeah.
It's about buying the actual land and build a house or maybe a brand new property and just use all the benefits out of it.
Yeah.
It's all about using the benefits while you last, right? So now my approach will be more towards brand new. Doesn't mean that I will close my eyes for established as well.
Yeah.
But again, I'm not scared about all these budgets. They come and go. Who cares? It's all about how much money I can make, how successful my property portfolio can be,
and how you change your strategy at that very moment.
It's not a short-term game. It's not I'm buying a property now and selling in 6 months. I'm not doing that.
You're in it for the long run.
And I'm going to pass it on to my children, and what properties I'm going to pass it on to them. Now, those things I might tweak.
Okay.
Right. But I'll keep accumulating much as I can.
Yeah. All right. Since we're going old school, are old school negative geared plays dead now? Or just on life support?
Well, I think it's dead, right? If it get passed on from the Parliament, I think it's dead. Right? So now it's a simple mathematics.
Yeah.
Income, you're making a loss on a property, you're making a loss on a property.
Unless it's brand new.
Unless it's brand new.
Yep. All right. So if you were starting from zero today, under these new rules, right? How would your first 3 properties, what would be the game plan you would use? What kind of game plan would you use to acquire your first 3 investment properties?
If I had to start from zero, that means I'm talking about my first home.
Yeah.
Buy a land, build a house, get all the government grants.
Benefits, yeah.
I won't lose a single grant. I'll take everything.
Yeah.
Right? That's number one. Then I'll buy it at the place that has more demand and less supply. So that will enable me to have more equity quickly so I can borrow.
Yeah.
I won't overcapitalize and I won't overborrow. Right? If my borrowing is only 700,000, I'll make sure I'll only borrow about 550, 600, leaving a bit of room so I can access the equity. So that will enable me to go and invest in a brand new property.
Yeah.
From 0 to 5, you gotta now think that way. That's why I said old school, the way I used to do things, myself and Sonali, it's literally there for you to do it now. But then after sometimes, or maybe 3 to 4, probably 3 to 5 properties, then I'll look into some established properties because I would have enough equity, I would have enough borrowing power to borrow, to subdivide it and build 2 more houses on it. Or 1, you can't do 1, you gotta do 2. There's no point of doing 1. Knockdown rebuild also no point now.
Yeah.
That also goes away according to the budget. So you gotta do 2. it's construction boost, right? So do it. Two rental income, right? So yes, you'll borrow a bit more, but you'll have two assets.
Rental
do it
income
right.
plus brand new, you have your negative gearing benefits anyways.
It comes into you.
Yeah.
So see, even again, it's very hard for me to say. Like for me, where I would be in my income terms and what the taxes I'll be paying myself and Sonali.
Yeah.
Depending on that, I might buy an old property or I might buy a slightly old property too. Right? While I get ready to subdivide, I might as well get some good rental income. But I will really focus on properties that will give me higher rental income now as investments. If I can make things neutral cash flow, I'll make it neutral cash flow.
Then it's a win.
Yeah, it doesn't cost me.
Exactly. All right, bro. We're moving on to the last 3 questions.
Okay.
21 questions. I did skip question number 18. It's because it's asking what type of properties would you buy, and we discussed. You would avoid established. You'd buy brand new. So I'm not going to ask that question again. We're going to skip that. Questions 19 to 21 are around mindset, opportunity, and advice.
Mindset, opportunity, and advice. All right, here we go. Right.
So,
Cool.
Are investors overreacting or underreacting right now? What are you seeing in your circles? Are your friends in panic? Are they in denial? Or are they quietly plotting?
I think investors are waiting for the market to react. Right.
This is within your circle.
Yeah. So it's not that they're waiting in the sense of I'll wait for 6 months.
Yeah.
They want to see the first reaction what the market does. We are in month of May.
Yeah.
We are in month of May and we'll be in June. So with the winter markets coming in, anyway, it's a slower market. Okay?
Yeah.
So investors will look at the slower market and see how much of movements in this market, the borrowing effects of the first home buyers, investors. We are looking at month of May, month of June. We might even see a rate hike coming in, right?
Most likely will.
Most likely.
News, yeah.
So we'll have a closer look at the auction rates, sale prices, discounts, vendor discounts. So I think the activities start happening in month of July, because there's a saying, early bird gets the worm. Yeah.
There's also saying second mouse gets the cheese, but
which bird does get the cheese?
No. Early bird gets the worm. Second mouse gets the cheese because the first mouse gets caught in the trap.
Oh yeah. So we're not playing we're talking about the birds, not not mice. So,
all right.
But if you think about it, so people will look at most of the savvy investors looking at it right now. They will suss it out in June. They are back into the market in July because what we see, a lot of people are going to wait.
Patience, yeah.
Right? They will wait till the spring market hits. They're going to get a shock.
Yeah.
They're going to get a shock. It's one of those times I always say, right? If the rates goes up, do your numbers right.
Yeah.
Get onto the market as soon as possible. When the rates start coming down, it's you.
That's when it starts flooding anyway.
Yeah.
Everyone
so
wants
you're
to
the
get
one
in
who's
there.
going to benefit. So we all the savvy investors and in certain circles that I hang around with, getting into the market.
They get into the market when no one else is looking at getting into the market.
Yeah. Most likely by end of June we're in the market. Yeah.
All right, bro. One of our old episodes you spoke about the poor man's mindset.
Yeah.
That quote you used was quite the hit. So here's another question on mindset. Okay, what's the one mindset shift every investor needs to make after this new budget if they want to stay in the property game?
Yeah, I mean, I can go back to the same thing I told, right? Poor man's mindset.
Yeah.
Get your head out of that. You can complain about this budget. You can complain, oh, the negative gear is gone. Now I can't do this. I can't do that. I can't. Everything, if you start telling yourself, can't, you can't.
True.
You will never do it.
Yeah.
That's it. Done. See you later, mate.
Nada.
Right? But my advice to young investors or savvy investors, whoever you are, look at the things that you can do within your means and do it. Don't just put it on a paper or Excel sheet and I can do this, but I'll wait. What you're training to your mind or what you're telling yourself is, I can do it,
But not today.
but not today. I'll do it tomorrow, or maybe I'll wait a bit more. Automatically, your mind will go to a level, don't do it.
Yeah.
Right? So you won't even know when you wake up, no, I should, no, I have to wait. I'll wait for a year and buy.
Yeah.
We know for a fact that you're going to wait for a year. We know that you will never buy. We know that. We move on from you. We go on to a person. Right?
Yeah.
Right. So,
I mean, we've had clients like that. Last year, about 2 years ago, 2024, if a property on a 400, 350 square meter plot of land in Officer, 650,000, 670,000, oh, that's too expensive. I don't want to pay that much.
yeah.
2 years later, today, that
Way too
that property is
expensive.
about
Way too
800,000,
expensive
so
mindset.
yeah.
My God, yes. Right. It's amazing. But to answer to your question, work out what you can do and do it.
Yeah.
Pretty much the poor man mindset. Get out of the poor man mindset.
Yeah. Every journey starts with the first step.
Absolutely.
All right. So, Prabhu, finish this off for the investors listening. If you get your strategy right in the next 12 to 18 months, this budget could actually be your... Take it away, Prabhu.
I mean, that's your wealth reset. This budget is actually a wealth reset. You've been doing the same wealth creation for the last for bonkers years. Negative gearing. It's a reset. That's why I said, secretly, I like it.
Yeah.
I actually like it. Because it now drives me to do something new. You always know when I do something new, it's pretty cool.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Do something crazy stuff.
Yeah.
Now
Definitely
I'm excited.
Crazy, yeah.
Like property game is changing a bit. Now people like us become very excited about this thing. So
Are you gonna, by the time the people who are saying, oh, I'll do it tomorrow, the moment they make their head to get into the game, you already run.
most of the people have done it.
You've already run. They're not catching you.
We've done it.
Yeah.
Right? So it's a wealth reset. It typically is that. How you build your houses, how you build your investment properties, how you structure them, and what sort of rental income you're going to expect out of it. It's a reset. There are certain questions the real estate agents will be bombarded with, which I will be having very soon. Okay?
Yeah.
No negative gearing. What's the rent looking like now?
Yeah.
When was the last time you increased the rent? There are so many of my properties I haven't asked that question for ages. Now I'll be asking the question.
So that's actually a good point. I think we should touch a bit more on that.
Yeah.
Right, and then maybe who knows, we can do a separate episode on that.
Yeah.
As a property owner who's rented out his properties.
Yeah.
Since you don't have your negative gearing benefits on your properties.
Yeah.
You're looking at increasing rent.
Absolutely. I tell you why.
Yeah.
Don't hate me for this.
Yeah.
I pay land tax.
Yeah.
I paid stamp duty. Now you've taken the negative gearing out from me.
Yeah.
Which means I'm paying quite a lot of tax to hold the property.
Yeah.
I'm paying it out to the government.
Yeah.
Okay. I need a return back.
Yeah.
What's my return? Only return is my revenue. I'm going to increase my revenue.
Yeah.
The way I run business is that way.
Yeah.
It's a business for me.
Yeah.
I will have to increase my revenue. If that property is not going to give me higher revenue,
Then you say
I'm going to get rid of it.
exactly.
Right? How I get rid of it? Maybe not selling. There are other ways we can do things.
Yeah.
Right?
So the renters. That's a demographic
it's a scary world for the renters.
no one's talking about that.
No.
Portion of people.
No, I just can't understand how come the treasurer missed it.
Yeah. And a large majority of people are renting, right?
I'm not an accountant by trade. I didn't do CIMA or CPA, but these are basic fundamentals.
Yeah.
Right? You increase the expenses of a business. What is the business going to do? Either close the business or
Lay off staff
to
Yeah.
or increase the revenue.
Or increase the revenue. Exactly.
Right? So how do you increase it? What are you going to do? Lay off staff? What are you going to do in a property?
Yeah,
There's
exactly.
no staff to lay off.
Yeah.
Get rid of your man.
You have to increase the rent.
You have to tell me what are the ways you can cut cost in an investment property. There are no other ways but to increase the rent. Then look at what's the impact of that. You're talking about first-home buyers want to get into the market. They were paying about $600 per week rent. Now the landlord must increase it by $660.
Either that or you stop maintaining the property and the property really becomes
exactly
shit.
because the negative gearing gone.
Yeah.
Right? Why do I have to put a new kitchen or new floorboards or new aircon system? Why? I'm not getting benefits back on this.
Exactly.
I'd rather put it to my house.
Yeah.
I'm just, don't hate me to this.
100%,
What I'm saying is, this is how all the investors are looking at it.
Yeah. So I think that's definitely another topic on its own that we can
Absolutely.
Dive deep into.
Absolutely. I think we need to bring a couple of investors and actually do it a forum podcast.
Yeah. There you go. Look, 21 questions. We actually ended up asking 21 questions. The last question was like the bonus question, which is going to lead to its own episode.
Yep.
So, thank you so much, Pramu, for doing this episode today. We wanted to do it different, because everyone's doing podcasts and videos on the new budget. And
I like this. It's good. It's
21
good.
questions,
Yeah.
One of your favorite songs also by
50 Cent.
50 Cent, All right. So, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. And we'll catch you guys on the next episode.
All right. See you later.